Okay. Am I live? I think I am. Hey, everybody, this is True Power's Mind, and this is Special Report. Today's date is March the 10th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's really, really early in the day, like extremely, but feeling a lot better, a lot stronger. And there's a lot on my mind, and a lot I want to talk about up and coming shows. I literally reached out to Ted Hayes today. Hopefully, we get that brother on the show. It will be a very interesting and very wild a deal. Now, I literally, I was on my way to sleep. All right, and then I became restless, and then I decided, I just jump on here for a few moments. But I want to throw this out here to you folks and see if you can imagine this. Could you picture if we could potentially get Mark from Anaheim and Judge Joe Brown Part 2? I mean, maybe you guys can comment for me on this video below. We had Mark from Anaheim and Judge Joe Brown on the other morning show one time. History with that show. But do you think we can do it with Special Report? And if so, would you guys want that? Is that something you want? Let me know. Because I will try to make it happen. I think it'll be an interesting show. I mean, just imagine all the questions you will be able to ask directly. Heck, might even have to make popcorn. But no, seriously. I know I'm just basically rambling right now, but this year we have a great opportunity to expand, reach more people, bring them in. And that's what I want to do. I want to build this thing up. Not to where Special Report and I think because I did a search for Special Report, nothing came up, guys. So I think I'm going to rename the show TPM Special Report. True Power is Mine. Special TPM or Special Report TPM, one of the two. So then that way, when I search for me, because without typing in my full name, which is True Power is Mine, this channel or none of my information ever comes up. And I know that was, my bad for making such a hard screen name to actually type in and find. I think it kind of worked or helped me out rather as far as negative people being able to find me or whatever. But I want to grow this thing. So I mean, I guess what I'm ultimately saying, man, I'm so tired. I am sleepy now. What I'm ultimately saying, guys, is that I'm going to bring you the show that you guys want. And literally all you have to do is comment below. Comment to me. I mean, I have some great folks behind the scenes right now, too. And I want to thank you. You all know who you are. I want to keep you guys all confidential because I think it's just better that way. I have more shows coming out. This right here is just a more or less an update. It's not a true special report or nothing. Because I'm really not, I don't plan on talking about news or anything. I hope that You all have a great Sunday. That is today. What's up, Sister CJ? We have a great Sunday. We put forth our good foot this coming up week because, once again, and I know I said this, I've been trying to warn people, buy the rice, buy the noodles, buy what you need for long term. But there should be some volatility in the markets. Now, the report just came out, 2 months ago, about the $22 trillion thing. All right, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of gold. So I guess what I'm ultimately saying, hold on, I have to look up something. I really didn't want to, but I need to look up something real quick. What is the world money reserve currency? I bet you Google's all talking right now. Oh, normally it should be. Hold on. This is one thing. I really didn't mean to go like political. I never do, but type that. This is one thing I guess we should. What's up, Brother Albert? I mean, I'm sure you guys can probably hear the lack of energy in my voice. I am so tired, but I want to at least share this a little bit with the world. Put this energy out here. All right, let's see what Gracie says.
As a result of the Bretton Woods agreement, the US dollar was officially crowned the world's reserve currency, backed by the world's largest gold reserves. Instead of gold reserves, other countries accumulated reserves of US dollars. October 1st, 2018.
BRICS and that are going head in head eventually, guys and gals. This is why World War III is inevitable. Bretton Woods agreement. I really want to see what that's all about. And that happened, that went down in July 22nd, 1945. All right? That's when they came up with the world, and then, or 1944. And then the following year, in 1945, they come up with the liberal world order. Do you not see what's up with all the stores closing? Oh, man, love. Well, this is what I was wanting. I didn't really want to go down this road, but since this can of worms being open, basically what you're seeing with the stores closing is an economic consequence of mismanagement. It's an economic consequence on living on credit and derivatives and things of that nature, non-tangible wealth. And that's what we're seeing. The collapse of this fiat currency that we're on. Like they had in the agreement here. Hold on. What is this? Let's go down to where we can actually see this. And so we can see the picture. All right. Well, there's the old guys. There's the guys that created the Bretton Woods Agreement. It's the landmark system for monetary and exchange rate management established in 1944. It was developed at the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference held in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire from July 1st to July 22nd, 1944. Hold on, let me, and that should be fine right there. Okay. So what we got here, then I can get this bigger and see what's going on in the chat room. Makes sense. I was just watching Bloomberg, and even Tesla will be laying off people. I'm waiting on the Social Security to close with all of our hard-earned money. Oh, Brother Albert, oh my God. No, I don't want to go. That's a whole show all until itself. The fleecing of the Social Security fund. But to what Love's talking about, I'm glad they brought up Bloomberg. Great source for financial information that's relevant and current. The problem is, folks, is as more of the, dare I say, little people are figuring out how, in general, finances really works, how the money that we kill and lie and steal for is basically artificially generated by the Federal Reserve and then loaned to the U.S. government, and the U.S. government has to pay them back. I think more people are coming to the conclusion is, why don't our government cut out the middleman? Why doesn't our government print our money for us? Because we can't. See, this is why we're tied to the living world order now. We are the reserve currency. So when, for instance, let's say Morocco, or no, hold on. Let's say Greece wanted to trade 4,000, I guess, tons of ore to, let's say, India. Before BRICS came along, India would have did that international business in U.S. dollars. Thus, that's why the petrodollar was very rigorously defended. We're deep in the rabbit hole and working on eviction of the guarantee. Well, listen, man. We are basically on the path that was written of thousands of years ago. We are fast approaching the point in time where life will have no meaning whatsoever. There will basically be a ruling class, wealthy, beautiful people, healthy, free of diseases, free of a lot of trivial things that we have to worry about. And then there'll be the remainder of us, eking out some bare minimal existence in some little crevice in the ground. So it'll be pretty fun times. Not at all. But we're not going to change it. You see why, brother and sisters? Because we have too much invested. I got my 401k invested in Chrysler now. It can't know. I got my stocks and General Dynamics. Come on, man. That's why I think I titled this Past or Future. It's your choice. Now, we all know that the system was put together to keep the opulent minority, which are rich white men, safe and in comfort from the unclean, unwashed masses, which is you guys and me, because I'm one of you. My question is, the ore is in the hills. The fish are in the rivers. And the timber is still in the woods. Did any of the corporations or conglomerates create the fish, create the rivers? Did any of the corporations or conglomerates, international conglomerates, simply plant the trees or create the trees growing in the forest? Did any of the corporations or conglomerates create the ores up in the mountains? They didn't. So why do we have to go through them to get what we need to better our lives? I will even go deeper. Did all of the inventors and people who paved the way for the lifestyle that we all kind of enjoy using internets and technology, did those ideals really manifest from them? Or was it built upon the greater conscious mind of humanity? And they just was able to focus in on an aspect to it, clarify it, and bring it to fruition. That's why copyright laws, all this and that, it's un-American and it's propagandistic the way it's being portrayed. This should be the one country in the world that any movie, as soon as it comes out, you have the means, you should be able to play it. Or if there's a book that comes out, you have the means, you should be able to read it. Or if there's, but then people are like, well, what about the artists that put so much time and energy into those productions? Oh. Well, what about all the kids who have to go to the public schools to learn one common language, potentially, so that we can understand your production? Because last time I checked, someone writing an opera in Sanskrit probably will not go too far in the society. People just simply wouldn't understand it. So therefore, I say, since we are forced to basically be indoctrinated with this language that I'm using right now, and you guys are understanding these thoughts, how can you truly copyright this? I didn't make up these words. I didn't make up the. I didn't make up the. I didn't make up any of these sounds that are coming from me. But yet, in this country, they can be copyrighted. And if you reproduce those sounds with your own voice, that's an infringement on copyright, which is ultimately an infringement on freedom of speech. They poison the fire areas, and monetize the good ones. You know, I want to show you guys a picture of something. I want to show you how this propaganda works. Without a doubt. Moon landing.
According to Wikipedia, a moon...
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the YouTube. Okay. Let's go to images. Now, I'm not trying to be ignorant here. I'm sincerely asking a question. If light doesn't pick up on this camera, the sky's all dark, no stars, how can the Hubble telescope see anything? Or even, like, if you see feed, hold on. Live feed from the International Space Station. See how NASA's up to their tricks? You see that? Let's go back one. The moon landing. Here's the moon landing. 40-something years later. Nah. With the Earth's curve. See that? Now, my question is, how come you can't see not one star? And I don't want to hear the horse shit that, you can't tape star all fake cause the moon is in our... Will you quit, Albert? Quit it. I don't buy it fake. Sister CJ, you two are going to get this channel banned. My two most valuable monitors are going to get us banned. You know we can't, speak the truth. You know that. This could be revolutionary if I was to suggest that this... I mean, come on. This is the International Space Station today. This is the moon landing. Now check this out. Let's go here. I want to go to the moon landing. Then I want to go, the internet. Check this out. Hubble Space Lab. Or I meant telescope. Now, even when they shoot the doggone Hubble here in space, you don't see, no, but yet this thing can see stars and galaxies. It's at this point, it's rather insulting to us collectively. You know, you can't show us pictures of the South Pole. You can't show us pictures of the dark side of the moon. You do put out a picture of Saturn with a straight up geometrical pattern where its south or north pole should be. Watch. Planet Saturn. This is pure madness. Hold on. What was that? The Viking that went out there and took the so-called pictures of Saturn Viking, I believe. Hold on. The Viking satellite Saturn pictures. Because this doesn't make any type of sense. I don't know if you guys can kind of, in this picture here, I don't know. No, that's not Saturn. That's some other weird Viking. Hold on, I will find it because this is really important. See this? That's essentially what these pictures kind of representing. This here. You're looking at the planet from the top. You see this geometric pattern, which just happens to be a cube. Here, if you don't believe it, let me do this. I want to show this to you. All right. We're going to go over here. We're going to grab this up real quick. Send to, no. I'm just going to save this. Whatever. Doesn't even matter. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Then I'm going to grab that. We're going to run over here, run this thing to paint real quick. Paint this son of a gun up. Okay. Now, let's get this paint thing in the frame here. I need some sort of pencil. Okay. Bam. One line to the center. Oh, what kind of brush I got? I got a weird brush. I don't want a brush like that. Okay, hold on. Okay, cool. I'll do a crayon type brush. All right. We start off at the center. I'm going to draw 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Oh, that was horrible. 6. I'm going to let it fly. 7, 8, 9. For those who've been following me, all that's coming, you know, from Area 55, Area 52 studios. Ain't that the truth? But if you guys remember that the video I did about 3, 6, and 9, classic example. It's found throughout all nature. When you get into pixels, it's very prominent in pixels in the rendering of pictures of there. Now, to me, this is a big fact. Fake. And the only reason why it's promoted, you know, reason why? Here, let me show you why, guys. Really simple. Because there's a lot of that involved. A lot of money. How many homes had people who worked for National Purchase. How many fancy, expensive cars people who work for National Purchase? Not to mention how many extravagant dinners, fancy hotels, clothing, pencils, paper, toilet paper, newspapers, tissue papers. Now you get to see what time it is. Whether it's fake or not, it doesn't matter. It's making money. And as long as it's making money, then it's the truth. It's just that simple. Really is sad though, but it is just that simple. I mean, for goodness sakes, man. When I look out here, and I look at some of these pictures, it just really makes me sad. Like this one has some remnants of stars in the background. But it's like, that's an artist rendition. In fact, most of these are actually composites. You know, and I get it, man. I get it. The attack on religion, the attack on spirituality, you know, this is real. This is real, guys. Because you can see it. You see? You can see it. This is totally real. But God's not. Spirits aren't real. Oh, that's the narrative they're pushing. And it's so exhausting and so sad. But yes, another day in paradise. Another day. Come on. And what is this madness, man? You know, how many trillions of dollars of these pretend space shots, space launches, are we going to have to endure? I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant. You know, why can't we do it like this? Why not give everyone a standard base living? Everybody gets, you know, so then we can shut down all this bullshit and have people who really genuinely want to try to, you know, get off this mud ball. Or should I say mud pie pan? It's almost like using not basic logic, but righteous logic. You can almost understand the situation we are all in collectively. Collectively, we come into this planet not knowing a thing. Basically, it's dumb as a turnip. We all get socialized into various stratas of life. We go to fulfill the life, then we pass away, and the cycle is repeated with our children and their children and their children. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but eating the fruit of knowledge or whatever, the original sin, some would say, or whatnot, how come knowledge isn't passed down? The sin's passed down, apparently, but wouldn't the sin be the knowledge? In other words, if you went out and did the sin of, say, sex, promiscuity, and you catch herpes, that will follow you forever. And then, you know, you can almost say with that individual or whatnot, that is their original sin. But with intellect, or just basic knowledge, it's not there with us. Everything we learn, everything, for the most part, psychologically we experience, it's all pre-scripted. Even the words people use to change your emotion. You know, there are certain words people could just say to you, it would totally change your emotional being. And scripted, because you didn't know these words, you didn't know the understanding, the meaning. It wouldn't affect you. In the Super Olympic pool with digital built space, wow, like a green screen, you have to shut down the ball first. Hey, if they tell the truth, maybe the ball will help them meet the depopulation. You know what? Since Brother Albert brought that up, I have to speak on that. Hold on. Operation Garden Plot. Oh, here's some documents, and it's unclassified now. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this in there for everybody to see. You guys don't really need to see the numbers. But I want to make sure you guys can see the whole thing for yourself, pretty much. Okay. High employment rate among minority groups, indicator of potential violence. Oh my God. Maybe this is the reason why they always talk about black unemployment numbers. High unemployment rate amongst minorities, increased crime rate amongst minorities, protests arising from income disparities between the minorities and the majority group, declining rapport between local officials and minority groups. Wow, that's just what's happening right now. I mean, just right on down the list. Migrations of large numbers of minority groups. Now, that was happening in the 60s. Protest by minority groups in such conditions as slums conditions, segregation in housing and schools, lack of jobs, lack of recreational facilities, police brutality, and local overpricing practices. Oh, what has changed? I mean, other than perhaps, no. I mean, segregation in housing still goes down, guys. There's certain places, as a melanated married woman, you will not be able to buy a house there. But some would argue you wouldn't want to buy a house there to begin with, but that's not the point. Hold on, what is this? This is prison operate. What? Okay. Operation Cable Splicer and Garden Plot are two sub-programs which will be implemented once the Rex 84 program is initiated for its proper purpose. Garden Plot is the program to control the population. Cable Splicer is a program for a orderly takeover of the state and local governments by federal government. FEMA is the executor arm of the coming police state, and thus will head up all operations, the presidential executive orders. Okay. Some of these. Oh, I just cannot even hardly see the print on that. That's just too. I can see PSYOPs program, so I already know what that's going to. But Rex 84, hold on, Rex 84. Was no joke, man. You know, they had these FEMA coffins in outside Atlanta, Georgia, hundreds of thousands. Now they said these were coffin liners. Of course, the average coffin wouldn't fit in there properly to be sealed, but you can throw 3 human bodies in there and it's nice and snug. Now maybe 2, you know, because of the way Americans are nowadays. In some cases, only 1. But the thing about it is, man, this is, and that's what I was just talking about, all those stacked up right there. The thing I'm talking about, man, there are still people out there with this in their hearts, man, ready to rock and roll, take you down there to the camp, exterminate. And once they got finished with us, the homo sex, and then the lesbo crowd, y'all were next. Of course, you guys be not melanated, of course. The melanated homosexuals and lesbians, you guys would have gone with the first row or crew. Then after that, there really wouldn't be nobody left, you know. Look at them riding down the FEMA train, all happy. Or actually, this is a FEMA truck. Sheep will be like, FEMA camps aren't real, bro. But, you know, this is the sad thing about it. This is the married folks going to be first because we're the real threat. Well, you know, yeah. You know, how dare you, Brother Albert, want to try to uplift and be a righteous person. You know, you need to be going your own way. And it's really sad. That is an awesome picture. It's really sad that I can't wait for this. Wow. That people are just not getting it, and they're using It's an interesting little poster. That's a Bohemian Grove. No, actually, that's a lynching. I know that photograph. I've seen it before. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Weird. But this is what I'm saying, man. These plans have been in the works for years and years and years. You got Rex 84, Operation Garden Plot, all these different plans, countermeasures. That's what I'm saying. The only thing that can really free this situation or bring this country to any type of clarity is unity and peace. But that's not going to happen. We already know this. Hey, what's up, Nick? Tell you what, I want to scroll down because I'm sure there's a certain picture. I'm looking for this picture of this guy. It's an Illuminati, like, pyramid, and at the bottom's all these guns and stuff, and it's like being steamrolled. All right? And this picture's so heavy because it lets you know that gun confiscation, are we really going to be that naive to realize that gun confiscations were what socialists did in their countries, what communists did in their countries, and what Nazis, fascists did in their countries? And the outcome of de-arming, taking away the citizens' guns, for one, when the government goes totally tyrannical, no one, even the righteous folks at this point in time, couldn't even pick up anything to do anything about it because they had no weapons. But two, when it's time to create mass atrocities, such as mass murdering people and things of that nature, then it goes unchecked. And we should not be foolish enough to think that there's not a group of folks with hate in their heart, just like there have been folks with hate in their hearts of the past. Except for this time, these guys get the benefit of technology. I mean, high technology. Religion is just a means to control the masses, who they got replaced by the government, who then gets replaced by the government. I guess so. What's up, Alpha? Welcome to the show, man. Yes, man, it is past coming to surface. Yes. Say no to the socialism. Socialism, I've said this many times, and I'll say it many more on the show. If you want freedom, you have to get rid of the isms. It's the isms that kills you. It's the isms that will eventually oppress you. And it is the isms in which your new slavery will be formed out of. Now, the United States form of government is not perfect, but the ideal of the United States government based upon freedom, and you have to addend this ideal because it's just freedom from rich white males once again, but we need to expand that to everybody. Then, now we're talking a great ideal and a good concept that many people can get behind. But many people cannot get behind that ideal because the implementation of the ideal has been so utterly distorted. Let's just put it that way. That's why you have police brutality. That's why you have income disparity. That's why you have disenfranchised populations. Socialism, communism is not the answer. If you want freedom. I mean, if you feel that you're going to be on the in crowd and participating in those organizations may actually benefit you in some way, okay, I can't speak to you because you're too far gone. You're too far gone. Mark Lehman, New Confederate. Look up the new Constitution. They ate 7 states away. Yeah, let's see the Article 5 thing. Hold on, let's look up this. See what this guy's about. There's nothing else. I never heard this guy's name before. Let's see what's going on. Okay, this is something about I'm sure this guy doesn't have his own show. Syndicated show, radio show, American show, as well as Life and Liberty. Is he a show? The Confederate guy, the Mark Lehman, the new. Okay, hold on. I'll look it up. On his own nationalist radio show Wednesday, host Mark called attention to what is, in his opinion, an ongoing progressive agenda to change the U.S. Constitution through the power of the U.S. Supreme Court, saying they want to use the Supreme Court to change our Constitution to achieve the utopian. Okay. Hold on. I don't know. Okay. See, now this is the danger. When you start dealing with folks like Mr. Levy here, you really need to get in there and see conservative. Not Confederate, conservative. Okay, you really got to see what he's talking about. Now, the main word there is conservative. Now, we all know what the meaning of conservative is, right? Conservative means that you want to preserve what's going on now. You want to preserve what's been cracking. I'm telling you, that's not worth preserving. There should be no one called conservative at this point in human history because there has been no righteous governments yet. They're all flawed and they're debased. A righteous government would say anyone who would do harm to another human being based upon their sex, their race, their sexual preference, they are the ones that should be held to be he's a nationalist, aka damn. Well, there it goes. I can't, on this show, we don't pretend. We understand the score. It's liberal. It's liberty. I meant it. See, that's the whole point. Alpha, you gotta check this out. When you do not acknowledge the past discretions, or when you romanticize the past to such a point that the past, dare I say, sins aren't even mentioned, and Jim Crow was a sin, slavery was a sin, misogyny was a sin. I mean, you do realize that the history of the country, like I said before, the ideal of America is beautiful. Freedom, ownership of property, religious freedom. That's great. But it was only, it was only meant for wealthy white men. Period. That's what it was meant for. I'm saying we need to cut off the rot on that and expand it to everybody. Like, it should really mean something to say you are a citizen. And really mean it in your heart. It should mean something. It should mean that when you get pulled over, oh boy, don't come up with a hand on a pistol talking about you got guns and drugs in your car. First thing out of his mouth. Or get out the car with your hands up, first thing out of his mouth. Or it means if you get blasted in your apartment, say by a female officer, people don't start saying, oh, he smoked weed and this and that. When's the last time we had a serious conversation about, I hear you, but that's not what's going to happen? Oh, maybe the chat room's talking about something different. I don't know for sure, but what's going to happen? And welcome to the show, Lonnie. What's going to happen when the chickens truly come home to roost? If you don't believe me, what is the birth rate of the United States? Not bird. Okay. United States sitting at a whopping 1.8 births per woman. That's 2006. We all know in order to have a thriving society, you need roughly like 2.0, 2.5. Why do you think the birth rate's going down? Oh, hold on. Let me do it like this so everyone knows I'm not being biased. The birth rate of the Western world. No, birth rate. Oh my God, not birth rate. Okay. The first known use of the term birth rate in English occurred in 1885. The average global birth rate at that time was 18.5 births per 1,000 total population in 2016. Wait, the average global birth rate is 18.5 births per 1,000. The death rate is 7. So let's just say 19 and 8. 19%, 1.6. Almost seems like the whole world's dying. Fertility rate, total women per... Okay. Which is, look up new constitution. All right, let me look up new constitution. Bam, put it in there. There's a new constitution. The U.S. needs a new constitution. Here's how to write it. Or do you have a... Hey, find me the link, Alpha, and put the link in the description bar, and I'll just... Because if men and women finally... Why is this? Really? Jefferson and Madison were wise. I mean, I guess one did write his own Bible, and the other one did have raped his slave and got away with it, but I don't consider that wise. Like, thus, why the Gulf War Part 2 happened and still going on to reduce the birth rate of the Arab nations. Oh my gosh, expensive to have a baby in today's society. You guys have those are some great answers, 2 great answers for sure. But here's the reality. The money thing, all artificial. The war thing, all corporate. But there is a corporate, hold on. Let's see if we can trick Google into giving us some real information. corporate plan to depopulate the planet? No. No, I mean, Agenda 21 is pretty good, but I don't want to mess with this because they're already on the depopulation conspiracy thing. I don't want to go into this rabbit hole because most of this, like I said, most of the so-called people putting out this information, all they are is just stool pigeons. So the powers that be can say, oh, they found out about that. Okay, switch it up to this. You know, it's really quite sad. And it's quite sad that we know that they're out to kill us. So that's why when you read about Roundup in your cereal, you read about defective parts going into your cars and airplanes. They're going to start blowing up and flying out the sky. Just remember, someone saved a buck. Someone saved some money on that. You know, as you're plummeting to the ground in a jacked up airplane because some cheap ass Chinese part broke in it. Just remember, you provided a lot of good jobs, and even in your death, you will provide some jobs. You know, cleanup crew, the undertaker, you know. Heck, you might even provide a dinner, you know, a couple of bones for a passing coyote. Or as your car's plummeting off a cliff, off a mountain, you know, because of those same cheap-ass parts. Remember, you provided some good American jobs down there at the seaport that, you know, had to check that stuff in off a boat and put it on your Walmart or AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever discount parts store. Just remember that. Because that's the way it is, dude. Your lives don't mean spit. You're just a paycheck. You're just a number. And if you do not perform, you will be deleted. Not my rules, guys. That's what happens when you compromise on being a child of God and you just accept being, you know, 32-4-18-9. Look up okay, Planned Parenthood. I know that was, I know about that. Margaret Sanger wasn't let's just say she wasn't a nice lady. I mean, unless you consider, you know, wanting to exterminate a whole group of people, a nice lady. Then that's your type of gal for sure. Hold on. There it is right here. Oh, come on. What do we got? Oh, my God. I don't want to have to make this big. Well, it looks like everything's here. Hold on. Let's just take this. We'll see what Grace has to say about it. Now, she might talk a little slow because she's going to fucking pause in between every sentence. But I can live with that if you can live with it. And I pretty much know I can live with it.
Life always has subsequently been accused of attempting to incite fear in the black community, of blaming black women for having abortions, and in a few instances, of racism. However, very few of their detractors have acknowledged that the organization's argument is not new. In fact, the belief that abortion and contraceptives have been used as a form of population control has a long history in the African American community and has been put forth by numerous other black communities throughout the African diaspora. At the same time, the African American pastor Bretton and his organization are also perpetuating a historical trend whereby black men, and sometimes white women, speak for and about black women as subjects, while ignoring black women's articulations of their experiences. Had life always been more astute in considering black women's involvement in reproductive rights and women's health debates, they might have been less eager to blame black women for New York City's high abortion rates as seemingly a part of some duplicitous scheme to depopulate black America. In reality, black women have walked a tightrope to advocate for, while actively criticizing. birth control and their care in doing so can be instructive to any meaningful consideration of reproductive justice for women of color.
Okay. The whole thing about people blaming black women for New York or whatever, don't really get it, don't understand it. You know, black women were not privy to the design and layout of New York, nor privy to who lives where in New York, so I don't understand how they are held responsible for anything that's going on there or any place else other than their own home or their own lives, whatnot. And how can we never ever point the finger where it truly belongs? We never point the finger at the people that kicked it all off. We never point the fingers at the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, the Bin Ladens, the 300 families that own this planet. We never point the finger at them. We never point the fingers at the goons, the gatekeepers, the people who thrive to discredit the little people, who thrive to discredit women who have been abused, minorities who have been abused. We never point the finger at the bankers, the people who can make or break whole communities at this point. Literally, guys, you do understand, corporations can crush small cities. If you don't believe me, look what happened to Detroit. Those corporations rode out of there, put their factories. You know, they make so many cars now to where there's literally car lots full of brand new cars, never been driven. They couldn't be sold. So instead of letting them go out on the market, they just park them on these lots so that they can keep on manufacturing more cars so they don't have to lay off workers. And these cars don't flood the market so that they can continue to make their money selling the cars, new cars. That's unsustainable. Look at all the plastic and metals that's tied up in brand new cars right now as we talk, sitting on various parking lots, runways, fields. And while we're sitting here talking, there's all kinds of folks that could be utilizing those cars, making their dreams come true. But because their dreams coming true would negatively impact the market, negatively impact the flow of money, collectively, our society says, F your dreams and F you. Here's a bucket. There's a dirty shitter. Clean it. When are we going to break the cycle? When? I don't know. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if the audio dropped or not. Okay, cool, Nick. Cool. The thing about it. Thank you, Lonnie. The thing about it, if we would merely come together, we don't have to love and kumbaya. I'm not talking about loving and kumbayaing, okay? I'm talking about just coming together for common cause and survival at this point. It may form into a kumbaya, but just to survive. Because I'm telling you, when Boston Dynamics really get the robot out, and you know that Boston Dynamics is owned by the Japanese, by the way. And a little history note, this country was the only country to drop a nuclear weapon in a war, and the country we happened to drop it on was Japan. So, while you guys are playing games, realize there's groups of people out here not just in the country, but outside of it as well, that has been done shameless. And you really think these people are going to be cool? You really think that they're really cool? Yeah, they vaporized grandma and grandpa, 70 years ago, but, they're cool. Wake up. The rest of the world sees how the minorities here are treated, seriously. Because I am a guy that is fortunate enough to talk to people outside these United States of America on the regular. And I'm telling you, I'm not lying when I'm telling you that the European Union, the Chinese, the Indians, the Russians, the Brazilians, and South Africans, and others are just waiting their time to jump and cut us up like a big fat pizza pie. At this point in time, America's almost like a big fat vajayjay just waiting to get blank. And it's sad. Because within our Constitution that we have already should be the promise for every citizen to express his or her life in the manner that they want without infringement upon by the government and or others. The sacrifice of Babylon is going down. You're right, Nick. While we go farther and farther away from God, farther and farther away from righteousness, more and more into deception, quite literally. That guy's a man, but you got to call him a chick. That chick's a chick, but you got to call her a man. They force feed you these lies. Another woman or another man gives birth that turns out to be a woman with a beard. Because if you're honest and sincere, then you know that in that particular story where the transgender woman allegedly gives birth to a baby, that's not a man giving birth to a baby. Because in order for a man to have sex with another man, somebody has to get it in the butt. And if you screw in the butt, you can't have a baby. It's just reality. But by me saying that, I'm probably going to get demonetized. This video will probably, won't see the light of day. I get it. Because that's not the narrative. I didn't say, oh, that's such a beautiful, tender moment. Two men locked together. I didn't say all that. I said what it is in counter to that story. Hold on. And you guys probably don't believe me. And they're probably like, what the hell are you talking about, Trooper? Hold on. Man gives birth to a baby. MJ and RK, not a coincidence. Okay, I want you guys to see this. Transgender man who gave birth opens up about his pregnancy. That's a chick with a beard that's taking hormones, a beard. It's not a man. See, there's more to a man than having a vagina. You see how retarded that sounds? In order to give a birth to a baby, you have to have a vagina. Ain't no man in the world ever had one. Nor shall he. But once again, this is the perversion of nature. It's a perversion. And then by me, what do you mean perversion? That is a perversion of nature. I mean, it's okay if you want to be, seriously, it's okay if you want to be whacked out in your head. But do not expect me to go along with your madness. Do not expect me to be like, oh, your dad is so... No, that's your mom. Your mom who's a freak. How come we can't... Let's look at the individual. Hold on. Let me pull up let me pull up... see, there's another one. A trans man. Come on, man. I mean... What's wrong with saying the truth? What's wrong with really saying that I don't understand for one, I don't understand how any man in his right mind can look at that and be like, oh man, that's sexy, and actually able to perform. But more so, how could any man pretend that's anything other than a woman? It's not normal. You know that, Nick. It's not. You know it. But by me saying it, and I'll take the hit, guys. I don't care if this one's not monetized, because Patreon is finally taking off. And I'm so thankful for all the new Patreon folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But guys, I refuse to participate in their self-image issues, because they damn sure don't participate in mine. Now, if you can sit here and be like, you find that these chicks are hot or whatever with beards on their face, looking like boys, or trying the best to look like boys, then you have a problem, not I, and not the listeners and TV viewers out there. We are on the same page. That's why I'm so happy for this audience. We are all on the same page. Now, I have no problem with people doing this freak show. I really don't. I just have a problem with them trying to make that to be normal. Make that to seem like this is the way to be. That's the only problem I have with it. Oh, yes, Lonnie, we already talked about that. NAMBLA, North American Man Boy Love Association. Horrible, horrible situation there. But all this has the same nucleus, or the same origin. You see, they're just different tentacles of the same beast. You know, I mean, think about it. If you was a pedophile and people were participating in this gender bending switch and blender, don't you think they'll be able to understand? Yeah, I know. I have these urges to, to put on a beard and have a baby. I can see why you want to do what you want to do. And then the furry guy shows up to the party, with his Great Dane or whatever. Hey, I don't see you as no difference just because you have a beard and you want to be a dude. I want to love this here dog. And then the guy with the toucan, the bird, shows up. I always thought I could fly. You see how this freak show no one will be in a position to say, hey, you're wrong. This is normal, because they all know that they're right on some unnormal type shit. That's what this is all. That's why all this confusion's coming down, is so that no one can stand up and point a finger at anyone and say you're wrong. You're doing things ass backwards, because you can't, because you're ass backwards. How can you speak on this? You're not that. They break up the family unit once and for all. You know it. And why would they want to break up the family unit? Don't we want to have strong families? Don't we want to have a future? And the answer is no. Of course we don't. Or else we wouldn't compromise on the simple stuff, like pre-birth abortions. You don't think they're real? Let's see what they say. Pre-birth or post-birth abortions. After birth. The only thing that should come after birth is a nice cleanup with bleach and water. But after birth abortions, can they be serious? This is 2020. We propose to call this practice after birth abortion rather than murder. Abortion advocates used to defense of killing preborn children, killing preborn children. Don't you see how it works? Hold on, let's break this down. Don't you see how it works? Back in 1972, they would have never suggested such. No, this here's only for if the mom's in blah, 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 blah. Then it gets more. Now it should be, let's have young girls have abortions without their parents knowing about it. That really comes in handy if you're that teacher at school doing things with the child, don't it? get her knocked up, and then you can take her down there and get that covered up real nice and easy. They don't want a strong, centralized family unless royal. Well, that's true, Nick, but even their royal families are all sick and weaselly. Hemophiliacs, get a scrape, die, boo-hoo. Too much inbreeding, bud. There's no such thing as royals. The same God that made me, Nick, made you, Nick, he also made the Queen of England, the King of England. God makes people. People make kings and queens. And I'm saying we're not qualified to make such. You know, am I anti-royal? Yeah, I am. There's no need for kings or queens on this plane of existence because the last time I checked, they all die. There's not one eternal king on this whole planet. They all die. They're just human beings like the rest of us. So I say get in the child line like everybody else. And maybe all this bloodshed that you guys been doing for centuries can be atoned for. How many human beings, Nick, died on this planet behind some royal nonsense? How many? How many people died? Seriously, chat room, how many people have died on this planet because of royal nonsense? I say if the royals want to go to war, let's build a fucking gladiator pit for them, throw them fucking butter knives, and tell them to go at it. We should be sick of dying for money. We should be sick of being the cannon fodder for those who could care two shits about us. But we aren't. When it comes to rich and poor, the poor is like a bunch of old loyal dogs to the rich. Treat you all any old kind of way, beat on you any old kind of way, but you still come on back wagging your tail looking for another bone. And that's the sad bit. We should be, Nick. And you're right, Albert. The devil is lies, and we should be sick of wanting to live like peasants. But you know, it's like that movie Brave New World, when the betas were talking about the alphas. Boy, we're so happy to be betas, or no, not betas, but deltas. We're so happy to be deltas. We don't have to think, and all we have to do is work, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they got us to all believe. There are no betas. There are no alphas. There's only humans with different levels of being fearful. Some of us are fearless, damn near. Some of us are cowards. Yes, that's the mindset. And yes, we are all created equal. The only thing that makes us unequal is what we're willing to do to maintain our freedom. Now, when black folks talk about freedom, that's something that we never really had a true taste of. Oh, just being free and not physically underneath someone's charge. That's not freedom. Being able to walk down the darkest street during the worst blizzard. Being able to walk up to someone's house. Hey, friend, I'm stuck out here. Can I get a cup of coffee? Sure. There you go. And that's freedom. That's liberty. But everybody has to be on board with that. Until we get people on board with that, guys and gals, we got this pseudo crap going on. You know, there used to be, and this is years and years ago, a cartoon. It was called Speed Racer. It was about a little guy and his dad, his girlfriend, and I guess his kid brother and a monkey. Riding around, beating everybody's ass all over the world, driving a race car. the thing with Speed Racer was he didn't realize his older brother was Racer X. You know, one of the few people, you know, that could truly beat him. And Racer X left, I guess, the dad's house, you know, over a fight or some shit. Never did. I don't know if he had a mom or anything. The point is, I'm saying, is that Speed Racer lifestyle is coming to an end, where motherfucker, you know, has technology, has way to get around, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that's coming in to end. Because in the 50s and 60s, a lot of people could identify with Speed Racer and his drive to win. Now they can in a romantic type of sense or a book type of sense, but not in practical application in life. What I'm meaning now is, guys, not only is the country becoming more impoverished, but the mental capacity to dream big dreams are also diminishing as the economic realities is coming true. Once they put this way, for those of you who work, you know, I know that we got a mixed crowd out here, but for those of you who just went on a job, let's say you really need this job. Have you ever went to sleep and you dreamed about working? You're literally dreaming that you're on the job. And then you wake up and you have to actually go to the job. What is happening there is your potential. Don't forget, guys, each and every one of you guys, each and every one of you, Albert, Alpha, Nick, CJ, Lonnie, all of you, when you go to sleep tonight or today, whatever you want to call it, you close your little eyes and you drift off into sleep. How much does it cost to have them dreams you have? No, seriously. How much does it cost to get the guy to write the script for the dream? Because every dream goes down like a movie almost. How much for the lighting? How much for the set? How much for the other actors if there's other people in your dreams? How much money does all that cost? Doesn't cost a damn thing because you're generating it in your own subconscious. Once you lose that ability to dream, to entertain yourself, that's when they got you. Because now all your hopes and ambitions and drives comes from the script. It comes from the TV. It comes from the programming. And now that's why we're in the shape we're in. That's why we have people right now, and you know who they are. They'll look you dead in the face and tell you, yeah, but tonight, they look you dead in the face and tell you that you're nothing more than molecules and you're some sort of mutated monkey. They'll tell your children that, and they'll tell everybody else that comes up after them that. Before too long, people will internalize that as truth. I'm saying you guys are divine in the sense that the spirit that dwells in you originates from God. You have control of it. You meaning whoever you are. You have control over that piece of energy. Do not let the past define your limitless future. Do not allow the constructs of the present to diminish your brighter future. Because once you have it in your head that you can never do better, that this is it, this is the epitome, this is the apex of your existence, by God it is, that's it, then you're done. You really aren't going to progress any farther. You are going to fall into the robotic, melancholy existence. You'll wake up, you'll kiss your wife, pat her on the butt as you go to work. You'll come back home, sit in your easy chair, drink your beer, smoke your pipe after you have your supper, read a book, maybe watch some flicks on the internet, go to sleep, wake up, do the exact same gag over and over until you get some Alex Trebek type shit happening to you and you peace out. And for those who don't know, Alex Trebek, the Jeopardy guy, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Like I said, probably a Roundup victim. Also, it's really sad. Repeat a lie, they'll believe it's true. You know it. You know it. We're all being cattle led together in these lame-ass jobs. Yes, brother. I call it feral wage slavery. See, back in the old days of the good old plantation, they had you confined on the plantation. You got to work, obviously, or you get beaten and all that good shit. Now, no, you're feral. You can get yourself your little hut off the plantation, but you better come on back. That's why I say most people know their co-workers better than they know their own wives or children, or husbands or children. How many people have seen women actually call other men on the job their job husband? What do you think she's really saying? I'm not saying that they're sleeping together. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying really she believes, you see her, make him plate of food and bring him coffee or the guy will bring her flowers and candies. They're not having, I want to make this explicitly clear. These folks are not having sex, at least not yet. I'm waiting on the slave ship museum. What proud white folks can't replicate there. My shit. I'm saying that not only have most of us lost the economic game, many of us, unfortunately, have lost the self game. Because I'm going to tell you, and I will tell anyone to their face, I do not care. I am about freedom. I'm not going to subjugate myself to man's nonsense. I see the truth of God's true laws and true path and purpose. And within that truth is freedom. At least that's what I see. It's freedom from disease. It's freedom from sadness and depression and fear. And it's free to really live. Because, see, unlike man, God will let you make mistakes and learn from them. Unlike man, God can complete you as a person. So with that being said, man, I'm going to bring this to the end. It's 3 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. I just want to say you guys are an awesome, awesome, awesome audience. The best out here by far. And you know what? I wouldn't want to have any other folks to be with me on this journey to basically the future. Because that's where we're going. Kicking, screaming. We're all headed towards the future. That being said, this has been Special Report on True Power's Mind. As always, live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace.